Hello, and welcome to the top 3 breathing practices for your everyday life. I'm Kelsey, and I am here to guide you through these next practices and help you take those steps on your yogic journey into the unknown. So let us begin. The very first breathing practice that we're going to do is simply a conscious awareness practice. We're literally just going to sit and get in touch with the breath and also work on equalizing out the breath. So a lot of people tend to breathe into the upper chest cavity instead of letting that full breath come down towards the belly. And so that is the very first thing that we start to touch on and work with here in these breathing exercises. So find yourself a comfortable seated position, somewhere nice and quiet, wherever you can find a spot, and we can begin. This is best practiced, I believe, sitting up in an upright position. You can lay down if you want to. No judgment whatsoever. So if you feel it better to lay back and get relaxed that way, feel free. Otherwise, find yourself in a nice upright sitting position, and we'll begin. So we'll start by closing our eyes and just feeling the breath. Just notice where it's at and start to notice our patterns. Notice how deeply we're breathing or how shallow. Notice how fast or slow we're breathing. And then we're going to start to take over that breath. So as you take your next inhale, breathe deeply through the nose, letting the belly button come out as we inhale, filling the lungs slowly from the bottom of the lungs all the way through to the collarbones. And when we exhale, we want to exhale from the collarbones down through to the belly, pulling in the abdomen as that last act of pressing that air out of the lungs. So just take a few moments here and slowly start to follow your breath in and out, nice and slow. Now that we've come in contact with the breath and we've consciously taken over that breath, I want you to start to count when you inhale and just see what number you count up to. It can be up to 3, up to 5, up to 7, whatever number you count to. Just pay attention. And then when you exhale, try to keep that same number. So if you counted to 5, try to keep that exhale at a count to 5. If you counted to 7, same thing, exhale to 7. So just do this for a few breaths, equalizing out the breath, bringing in that equal number in, equal exhale out, and just noticing the sensations, noticing the body, noticing that nice gentle flow throughout the body. And so this practice can be practiced at any time, any place. And to expand your practice, you can do one of two things here. So you can just try to move your count up, one count per day, or per time you practice. So if you counted up to 5 during your inhales today, maybe tomorrow try to get to a 6, and the next day try to get to a 7, and try to get up to, ideally it would be great to be up to a 10 count inhale and a 10 count exhale. So that is a great start for you there. And also, one other thing you can add in there outside of the counts is adding a pause at the top and at the bottom of the breath. What I mean by that is after your inhale, count up to your number. So let's just say we count up to number 7 on our inhale, and then hold that breath for a moment. Pause for 1 to 3 counts, and then exhale your 7 counts out. And then after that 7 counts out, hold that breath out for 1 to 3 counts, and then slowly start to take that inhale again. So adding this pause at the top and the bottom of the breath really gives us a lot of, it gives us a lot more mental control, and also expands the lung capacity, because it really allows us to stretch and move all of that muscle tissue, all of the organ tissue and things in the chest cavity. So that is your very first practice. And again, this one is a practice that can be used anytime, anywhere, any day of the week. Just a very simple counting of the breath, equalizing your inhales and exhales, extending that breath, and then also adding a pause at the top or the bottom of the breath. And that exercise will get you on an amazing track towards that mind, body, spirit balance if you're feeling anywhere out of alignment. So, our next practice that I am going to share with you is alternate nostril breathing. So there's a few different ways to do this technique, but I am going to show you one technique today, and we can dive deeper another day. So again, for this practice, you find a seated position. You can lay back, but this one might be a little bit easier to do while you sit up. So for alternate nostril breathing, we'll take our dominant hand. I'm going to take my right hand, and we're going to use our thumb and our middle finger as our pluggers here in this situation. And we're going to use our hand to close or plug one nostril at a time during this practice. So if you're using your right hand, your thumb will be closing your right nostril, and your middle finger will be closing your left nostril. We're not closing them at the same time. Just follow along and we'll go from there. So from your comfortable seated position, bring your hand up towards your face, and we are going to plug the left nostril with that middle finger. And then we're going to take a deep inhale through that right nostril. Deep inhale in. At that top of the breath there, you're going to plug your right nostril. You'll open up your left nostril. And when you exhale, you'll let all of that air come out of the left side. Exhaling out the left. Find the bottom of the breath, kind of squeeze that air out. And then slowly inhale again through the left nostril. At the top of the breath, you can plug the left nostril, open the right nostril, and exhale. Inhaling again through the right nostril. Plugging the right side, exhaling out the left. Inhaling through the left side, exhaling out the right. And you just continue this pattern, going back and forth, nice and slowly, for about 10 to 15 rounds. One round is inhaling through the right and then coming back to exhale out back through the right side is one round. And in this practice, you can also use your count. So just how we counted the inhales and the exhales in the last exercise, we're going to do the exact same thing here. As we inhale through that right nostril, you can count up to whatever number you get to. And when you exhale through that left nostril, again, try to equalize out that breath, keeping it the same count, and inhaling the count in the left, exhaling the same count in the right. And again, another thing that you can just add in there is a slight pause at the top and the bottom of the breath, and then also expanding your number. So if you got to breathing in 7 counts, maybe next time you try this practice, try to breathe into 8 counts. And again, just try to get our breath up to that 10 count, get our heart rates nice and slow, get our bodies in this rest and digest system, opposed to fight or flight. And yeah, this one really helps with balancing the right and left hemispheres of the brain. So if you're feeling a lot of anxiety or stress or just jitters, things like that, mind racing, anything along those lines at all. Alternate nostril breathing is my favorite and best practice for anything anxiety and mind related, overthinking, all of that. And so now, moving on to number 3. Kapalabhati is the last breathing practice I want to share with you today. This one is really made for, this one's great for emptying out your lungs that we've had. And really, it's basically a changeover of air, if you can imagine that. When we breathe in and out throughout the day, we definitely don't breathe to our full lung capacity with every inhale and every exhale, because that would be exhausting. But so as we inhale and exhale, we do get kind of some stale air, stale molecules, stale stuff, getting stuck in our lungs. And so this breathing practice is really excellent for clearing out all of that, getting all fresh new air and oxygen into your body, and giving yourself a really nice mental restart. So this one is great for really if you're really not feeling it and you need to up your energy level, it's great for that. It should not be practiced if you are on your period, if you're a woman. So I will just throw that out there. This one's pretty rough on the abdominal kind of uterus area. And so just don't do it on your period. It's not fun, and you don't need to. You need to rest when you're on your period. So, but if you are not at that time and you are healthy and able-bodied human, you can practice this at any time. Like I said, this is more so when you need kind of that burst of energy and you're just not feeling it. So for Kapalabhati, it is really a forced exhale breathing practice is what we're working with here. Our inhale becomes very passive, meaning it just kind of happens. We don't have to sit and think like, okay, we're inhaling, kind of like we did with the last couple practices. This one, our inhale is very, it's just very automatic. And our exhale is really what we're focusing on and what we're forcing. And so with this breath, it's again best practice from a seated position. Probably shouldn't do it from the floor. It might give you a little bit of belly upset or something weird like that. So just try to sit up while you do this one. And again, just find a nice comfortable cross-legged position or seated position. And I find this practice very helpful to do if you place your hand on your belly, on your abdomen area. So you can kind of feel what is going on here, and it gives you a better idea of just body awareness, I suppose. So in this practice, we take a deep inhale to start, and then with our exhales, we're really forcing that exhale out, pulling in the abs as like, you might be able to audibly hear this, but like I'm going to inhale deep, and then so like each of those, that was like kind of breath strokes. So inhale, and so that big force out through the nose. So we keep the mouth shut, hands on the belly, and force that air, pulling in the abs and really pulling that kind of, it's almost like a little punch to the gut, almost really like shoving that air out of the lungs. And so we do this for about 30 breaths in a row. I'm going to do it for 10 breaths in a row so you hear kind of the cadence of how it goes. Because like I said, your first inhale you'll pay attention to. The rest of them are automatic. And what we're really focusing on is the exhale. So I'm going to take a deep inhale, and then you can listen to these next 10 strokes of breath, and it'll kind of guide you on where you are. So deep inhale in. All right, so that wasn't 10, that was like 20, so I'm sorry. But you could hear each of those is a breath out, out, out. And that inhale just kind of automatically happens in between those. So what we aim to do here is about 30 strokes and 3 times in a row, and take a little bit of a break in between. For a very beginner, I would say about 15 to 20 strokes Or let's do 20. Let's just make it even. We'll do 3 rounds of 20 breaths. So you'll take that deep inhale and then exhale heavy 20 times. And then we'll come to even breathing. And then we'll do that again 2 more times. So let's do it together. Take a deep breath, hands on the belly, and begin. Come to an even breath. On that last breath, on that 20th stroke, force it out and try to hold that breath out for a few counts and then take a breath in. So after that last, try to hold for about 3 seconds before you take a nice big inhale. All right, so we're going to do that Kapalabhati breath again, 20 strokes. And again, with that last exhale, hold that breath out for about 3 to 5 seconds and then take your deep inhale and just come to a normal breath. So deep inhale in for 20 strokes. Come to a nice even breath. And one more time, 20 strokes. Take a nice deep big inhale and begin. Hold the breath out. Slowly begin your inhales. Come back to an even breath. You can slowly start to open your eyes. And with that practice, again, try to work your way up to doing 30 strokes, doing it 3 times in a row. And then you can also play around with that last exhale and holding that breath out. So holding that breath out for 10 seconds, holding it out for 5 seconds, however long it is before you take that nice big inhale. And it just really helps to reset the body. It's an amazing practice for jump-starting the metabolism. So if you tend to lean towards like kapha body constitution, this is a great practice for that, for getting your lymph fluids flowing, getting your digestion going, getting everything moving. So yeah, those are my 3 very favorite practices to come back to again and again, with our equal breathing, with our alternate nostril breathing, and with our Kapalabhati breathing. I really hope that you enjoyed this time, and I hope you use this recording to come back to and use any of these breaths whenever you feel you might need it. So Om Shanti to you, Om Peace, universal peace is what that means. And I hope your day is amazing. One love. I will talk with you soon, friend. Namaste.